Well, get my big fat hand out of the way. All right, YouTube. It is another day in the shop. Oh wow, we're just moving right along here. So today, what I've decided to do is for the elevator that we were working on, we're ready to finish up. I'm still waiting on some parts from Vans. Nothing against Vans. These are things that I ordered, things that I messed up, had to get reordered or whatever, you know. So it's nothing, I'm not waiting on any parts from Vans because they did something. It's just me. So, but to keep the ball rolling, because we got great momentum going on and everything, I am going to start on that. There you go. We're going to start on the actual tail cone. There is the tail cone from the reading that I've done in the preparation. There is a lot of work to be done, period. But there's a lot of pre-work, a lot of drilling, a lot of cutting, a lot of shaping, a lot of that. So today what I'm going to do is get in here. I got to get the shop reset. You guys know, as I go through an evolution be a part, you know, a major part or component, I trash the shop. It is a mess. So what I do before I do that, I reset. I put everything back to where it was, where it should be, put all the rivets and all that in their proper cases, get everything organized, and then start over and then proceed to make another mess. So that's how I do things. That's how it works well for me. You know, I'm one of these guys that it might look in complete chaos, but if you ask me where something's at, I can tell you. Yeah. But so what I do, so I'm going to do that. I've got a bunch of parts, a bunch of tools laid out. I'm going to get all of those put back up in their proper place and get things reorganized. And then we are going to proceed to start on the tail cone. So you guys know the routine. You've been here long enough. The plane's not going to build itself, so I got to get to work. All right, YouTube. So pulling out the parts from for the plans for the tail cone. So I've got all my parts laid out on a bench. Make sure that you measure your angle iron, because it tells you 3/4 by 3/4, but you also have to go over here to the packing list. And when you pull up 3/4 by 3/4 by 18, so you have to measure, make sure you measure. This has got to be 18 inches. That's how you know. There are various lengths of the angle, so you got to make sure you measure this to make sure. There's a 17 incher in there, so you can just as easily pull out the 17 incher, eyeball it, think it's 18 inches, and lo and behold, you got the wrong part. So very important that you measure the pieces according to the plans. Now, you've seen me do this a couple times, but this is a good time to kind of go back over it. Here's my tape measure that I use to measure that angle iron. Go to a box store, Harbor Freight, get yourself some of this wrap. When you undo your sub kits, wrap them back up. So that way they're back together and you can put them on the shelf and you don't have to worry about losing parts. A lot of guys will talk about, oh, I misplaced this part, I can't find this part. Well, that's how you do it. Just keep them together. Or you can buy, maybe go to Harbor Freight or another box store and buy the totes and put the parts in there. But there's a lot of little parts that, like that bolt, that could fall out. So I just wrap them up. The other thing is, get yourself, I had this one. If I was to buy another one, I would buy one that I could do electrical labeling with. I think I can do it with this one, but they do make, Ideal makes one that you can print up normal labels, and then you can also print up shrink wrap labels to put all around electrical wiring. I'm sure that's the electrical one is in my future. I'm surprised I don't have one already. But, you know, make sure you print up labels. So you label all your parts, wrap them back up, and then put them back on the shelf. It's amazing. If you do that, you won't be losing parts. So that's what you do to keep yourself up. But you know, get this shrink wrap. It's a lot better than tape. I've done the blue tape, you know, and tried that, and that's a pain to get unraveled. This is so much easier, and this is so much, you know, the stretchy stuff. So get that. Get this. You get this at Harbor Freight for a couple bucks, right? Might want to get two, because you might get one where it's just come over from China where it's dimpled or whatever, and as you pull it, it does it. So buy two of these, you know, because you're going to use it. You're going to need it, but it would be a good idea to have one just in case you got one that's damaged, that won't unravel and everything. It'll save you a trip back to Harbor Freight. So here we go. I've got to do some marking and some cutting. One thing I noticed is I've got a tap. This is a tie down bar, probably for the tie down, the tail tie down. Threads up in here. I have to go probably get a tap. I think I got a tap, but I'll, you know, worst case scenario, I'll just buy a tap. So I got to go get a tap to tap this here. That's the instructions, but I've got to cut it. I got to cut this piece to these dimensions. So I'll start getting my marker out, getting marked up. I've got to take this piece here and cut it to 6.5 inches, and then I got to mark this up. So we've got some, this tail requires a lot of preliminary cutting and marking and shaping metal. See, here's a bulkhead stiffener that I got to cut and shape. There is a lot in this tail. There is a lot of cutting and shaping parts and stuff. So this is, we're now getting into not just assembling parts, but we're actually getting into manufacturing pieces and parts for the plane. So there you go, got to get back to work. All right, there you go, YouTube. So you guys have seen me do this before, but might as well go ahead and do it. So Dykem, it's a blue steel, so it's made for marking metal. So you put it on the metal and then you can scratch it using let me show you, using a tool like this, which is a diamond cutter for glass, or you can use a tool like this, which is kind of like a caliper that you can run along the edge to get your line. So I'll get that. So the instructions say I've got to do 13 30 seconds. 13 30 seconds. So what I did is I took the Dykem and put it on the bottom. As you see now, what I'll do is I'll draw a line all the way across the piece, and then I'll measure in 7/8. Now these are all imperial. You can convert them into decimal points. I convert them into fractions. I tend to like the fractions, or into fractions. They are fractions. I convert them into millimeters. I like the millimeters better. So, but whatever works for you. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to first get our line for 3/30 seconds, and then our lines for 7/8, and we'll do a hatch, and then that will tell us where we need to drill. All right, so there you go. I don't know if you guys can see the line. I got a little bit off on this one here, but I did. It's this inside line here, not this one that goes through. I don't know what I was thinking there. Measure once, cut twice, right? So it's that line right there. And then, of course, that's nice and sharp. So using these, actually this line here was created using my calipers and scribing with my micrometer here. And then I just went ahead and marked it. So now I've got but the part that I really care about is not this line that runs out here, but this line here in the center where they intersect. And so now what I'll do is I'll take my punch, and I will punch that down, and then this is what goes on the drill press. I got a drill press. I'd probably hand drill this, just using the air drill and everything. So, all right. So enough of that. I got some more work to do. So I want to share something with you guys. So one of the things, let me go over here to the plans. We've got to pull out these K1003s, right? K1003s. So you keep your inventory sheet, and a K1003 is in bag 1132-1, right? So when you open these bags up, and here was the bag. When you open these bags up, there's gonna be times where you're gonna have multiple parts, right? And you don't know what is what. So it's a good idea. Like in this bag here, there was 3 separate parts. These are the 1106s. That was in that bag. And the only way that you're gonna know what is by the count, just by deduction. You know, you have 4, 25, and 16. So it's a good idea when you break these bags open to go ahead, count them out so you know, because you don't know what this number is here. You know, you've never done this before, right? So you don't know what this number is here. So when you break it up by the count, at that time, it's a good idea to go ahead and label them and then to get them into their spot in whatever storage container you have. I did that with all of the AN bolts and stuff like that. So as you break these bags open, I keep them in the bag as long as I can. But when I break the bag open, I then at that point, start separating the parts. Because sometimes the only way you're gonna know, like here, I can tell you inside this bag, there are several different types of screws. So, you know, when you break the bag open and you do the count, that's what's going to tell you kind of what each one is. So that at that point, go ahead and break them out. Don't put them back in the bag, because once you mix the count up, right? Did I take 10 out of that? Did I take whatever? Go ahead and put them in their respective place in your bin to help keep you organized. All right, there you go, YouTube. So we got the first page, well, part of the first page done. This piece here is wah, 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 wah. I don't know. I'm torn. I'll show you. Well, let me show you what. So we got all of this done. I had to order another one of these, the tie down bars. And we got these done. And we got them countersunk and the nut plates in, and the J channel cut. Very important when you do the J channel, make sure you measure. They come in the bundle that I got, which is laying up there. They come in different lengths. There's a 6 foot piece, 6 foot. I'm 6'5", so I know. Man, maybe I'm shrinking. So well, I'm looking at eyesight. So there's a 6 foot, and it looks like there's an 8 foot. Make sure you pull from the 6 foot, not from the 8 foot piece, and everything. And then, yeah. So you know, there's a lot of, like I said, fabrication. Let's talk about this. Let me switch around. All right. So sit down here, take a load off, scratch a little bit. No seams are out. Had a visitor in the shop today. Had the door open, and that's one of the things that I hate about Florida is the bugs. Yeah, so let's talk about this guy, cutting. A lot of people, and I kind of agree. Let me bring it in here. Let's get a little close here. All right. I buy tools from Harbor Freight. Okay, no big deal there. I'm sure you do too. The difference between a Harbor Freight tool and besides cost, is quality. Now, bandsaws typically are bandsaws, right? You don't think anything about them. The problem is that the cheaper the quality is not Harbor Freight. It's when you move into any tool, especially in a power tool like that, a bandsaw, jigsaw, whatever. There's more travel in the part. The tolerances aren't as good, so they travel. And part of it's me. I'll be honest with you. Like I said, you've heard me say it before. When it was come time to cut straight lines, I was a kid probably eating glue. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. So I'm already at a challenge. I can't cut a straight line, and my life depends on and it does depend on it because my airplane. Coupled with that, with the fact that there's that the bandsaw, and it's not. I don't want to blame the tool. It's the operator, right? Because I knew this going in. So the thing is why cut so close to the line? Why don't you cut back from the line? Why don't you give yourself some room? Yeah. So I messed the part up. I cut along the line, and the problem is the bandsaw. A couple things. The blade, I got to change it out. Number one. Number two, the blade it moves a good. I would say probably 2/8. Quarter, not a quarter. I would say it moves a good 3/30 seconds. Yeah, 3/30 seconds on both sides. So that's 6/30 seconds because the blade oscillates. So the problem is when you think you're cutting on the line here, when that oscillation comes in, you're actually cutting over here, and it does it on both sides. So it considerably, and then like a knucklehead, I thought, well, I'll just straighten it up. Straighten it up, straight up. By the time I got done straightening it up, I cut way too much off. So I got to figure out a way of cutting, because this is not the first time this has happened to me. Yeah, that bandsaw, I just probably need to chuck it. It's the quality of the cut is really bad. I mean, I've used really nice bandsaws, and they cut aluminum like butter. This guy here, yeah, it's having a hard time. Now I'm going to change out the blade. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, and I've got this scratch piece here that I can practice on to try to see. So I got it. So I'm gonna try it. I'm not gonna give up yet. I might build some kind of jig to hold it on a block of wood or something. I don't know. I'm just not happy. I'm not happy with it at all. This is the second part, and you'd think I would learn that I destroyed running it through that bandsaw. Now, like I said, it's my fault ultimately because I know the capabilities of that bandsaw, right? I know what it can't do. And so I need to adjust my plan to accommodate that. But you do too. I would recommend that if you do buy a Harbor Freight or you buy any power tool, get some scrap material and just run it through and see how it's going to work. Yeah. Don't run your production pieces through it. Go ahead and run some scrap pieces through it. That piece is long enough. I could have just I could have cut the tail end and just kind of saw how it's going to bend or whatever. You do have the piece is long enough that you can cut a tail off of it and still, you still got plenty of space left. That's probably not probably, that's what I should have done. I wish I had it here. I should have cut a demo piece, and maybe that's what we'll do next time. You learn. I obviously have a demo piece here. I got this piece here that I can make several cuts on to try to dial it in. I have a metal chop saw. That works really well, especially on the angle iron, because you put it up on the point, so the angle. And when you put it up on the point, that's what I used to cut this, and it was awesome. So instead of cutting it, a lot of people will cut it flat, like at that profile, right? Well, if you put it like that profile and let the blade go through it, it cuts perfect. So I use the chop saw for this. Problem with I tried the chop saw with this. The chop saw has a little bit of a pitch to it, so when you cut it, see the angle, and it kind of cuts. So the chop saw itself is not perpendicular to the platform. I know that. That's chop saw definitely is not a precision tool. Metal chop saw. You got to cut it, and that's what I'll do is I'll cut it and then I'll sand into the line, give myself some room there. But even then, I don't know. I'm just having a hard day with this, and this is the second piece. I'm pretty sure the second piece that I destroyed using that bandsaw. I don't know. I want, as much as I like to blame it on the bandsaw, it's me, because I know the capabilities of the bandsaw, or the incapability of the bandsaw to do the job that I need it to do. I know that. So shame on me. I'm going to change out the blade though. I do have an extra blade, so I will change that blade out and stuff. I have cut a lot of pieces on that, so I shouldn't poo-poo it. But if you want a precision cut, it ain't gonna happen. If you want a rough cut, yeah, it's perfect for a rough cut. So, all right, so we got 10.2, page 10.2 of the tail cone, except for this. Oh, by the way, I did order 2. They're only $5. It's a $5 part. I ordered 2 because there's some more cutting. There's some angle cutting and stuff like that you have to do, and who knows, I might screw that up too. Might screw up putting holes in it, you know, because you gotta match drill holes and stuff. So who knows? I gave myself plenty. You know, I'm gonna pay $20 to have it shipped here for a $5 part. So I might as well throw another one in there just in case, as extra. So yeah, so we got not a lot done, but we got done what I wanted to get done, except I muffed a part, but it's okay. So 10.2, we got that done today. We are on the tail cone. Yay, I can actually report that. So we're on the tail cone and good times. So yeah, this tail cone, I can tell you, there's a lot of fabrication. So this is not something that I'm gonna blow through. There's a lot of fabrication and there's a lot of 2 people kind of work. When we get into riveting the skins, I'm going to need help with that. So, but enough of that. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to wrap it up for the night and call it a night and get out of here, get home, spend some time with Miss Sandy and everything. And yeah, not and everything. Just spend some time with Miss Sandy and get ready for tomorrow. You know, tomorrow's another day, God willing. And with that note, I just want to say thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, leave them in the comment section. Leave it to the building of the airplane. Don't care about your politics. Don't care about all that other stuff. Leave it to the airplane. I'll be glad to answer it. And, you know, you guys know the routine. And I sincerely mean this. God bless you guys. God bless you and your family. Stay safe.